Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Richard Graves. Glad you guys have you on History of House. Today, we have a very special guest, one of the producers and DJs I've admired for years, Mr. TYREE Cooper. The other producer, also super duper trooper. Y'all all know what it is. TYREE has made some of the baddest hits in Chicago house history. I've had the pleasure of hearing him DJ, seen him perform at the Riviera nightclub back by himself, and also with Cool Rock Steady. And TYREE, I believe, is the one that introduced us to Cool Rock Steady. Again, TYREE, I can't say more than what you guys already know. This guy is one of the baddest producers Chicago's ever churned out. So without further ado, let me bring you guys Mr. TYREE Cooper.
Yo.
What's up, sir?
Peace. I'm good, man. I'm good. Just get my camera situated.
Okay.
Situated. Yeah, so y'all can see me, so my head don't like it's cut off.
Cut off by the logo.
Down like like I'm doing some scrunches and shit, right?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you real clear, man.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for coming on the show, bro. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy man, and I thank you for taking the time out. And again, I'm gonna try not to geek out too much. I told you I interviewed Man Parrish, and I kind of geeked out with Man Parrish.
Hey, do what you do.
Kind of the same thing with you, man.
I'm a fan too. Don't trip. I'm a fan too.
I'm gonna mention a song you did that kind of inspired me and helped me learn how to actually compose music. You did a song called "No Control," EP you did. Hey man, I still listen to that song every now and then, man. It was so smooth. It boom, 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 boom. And honestly, it was, that's Chicago house music right there. Nice fat bass line, you had 909 kicking, and you just ran with it, man. And you had the strings. It was beautiful. I still listen to that song, man. And you gave me and my homies the song. We all went to the military around the same time.
Okay.
And you had made Acid Over.
Oh wow!
And to this day, that's the song for our senior year in high school, man. We played that song. I probably played a group. I probably Acid Over. I probably played so much. I had to get 2 extra copies because I played it so much, man.
So you class at 86, 87?
88.
Okay.
88. We played the heck out of Acid Over.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that was
that's the golden age class.
Yeah, man. But dang, that was such a smooth song. That alone makes me privileged to speak with you, someone who composed such music that inspired us and that was part of the soundtrack of our life. I appreciate it, man.
Word. I appreciate that. That's word. No Control was okay. After I Fear the Night came out, I really didn't have a follow-up, so to speak, that Rocky or DJ International was feeling. So I kind of begged for some studio time. Never had any equipment. So I just now you change the angle of the whole hook up. You see?
I'm not gonna do you like that.
Yeah, there you go.
I was trying to get rid of that logo, but go ahead, man.
Oh, my NASA logo.
No, my logo. That's kind of got your face is a little covered.
Yeah. I see. Okay. Okay, if I did like this.
Right? There we go. All right.
So I had to give you my stoic profile.
Thank you, man.
So anyway, I asked Rocky if I can go in the studio, and the guy that kind of helped me along the way, his name was Armand Ransom, but people know him as Professor Funk.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of helped me along the way, even with that whole EP. Joe Smooth did a piano line for me. He kind of helped me on the track. But No Control was one of them tracks that my cousin Sean Smiley Williams, who also did music on Rockin' House Records as well.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Hey man, you need something to play for the streets, man. Like, people want to hear you rock on the streets, man. You need some stuff like No Control." I was like, "All right, what kind of bass line we talking about?" And he couldn't really play this, so I played it. Amon Ransom sequenced it, and so what you hear is what you hear. So he bugged and begged me to mix it down since he with his big cousin, and he's in the studio, so he wanted to learn how to do it as well. So I let him mix down part of it, and then I mixed down the other part. Acid Over. The concept really originated in Detroit, right? When it was a gang of us. It was Adonis, Liddell, Chubby, William S. Wayne Williams, Chip E. We were all doing a show in Detroit at St. Andrews Hall. If anybody knows what the importance of St. Andrews Hall is, that's what pretty much if you performed in Detroit, there's only a few spots, like Maxim's, St. Andrews Hall, things of this nature, and maybe a few other spots I may be missing. But it was a big show at St. Andrews Hall, and the guy that brought us down there had some equipment, so he had the idea of us doing some studio type work. So Liddell, Townsend, William S., and myself, we just kind of hauled up this equipment time, and we just started making all type of tracks. So one of the tracks' names was Acid Over, right? Because at one time in Chicago, it was just a whole lot of stuff. Anyway, when I came back to Chicago, DJ International asked me if I had a track. I'm like, yeah, I got one, and I came up with this I think crazy acid line, and I just called it Acid Over in remembrance of that song we did in Detroit.
Wow.
And but depending on which mix you're talking about, I'm not for sure.
Well, I liked all of them. I liked your radio mix, but we of course love the piano mix. I think now did Peter Black do that work with you on that? Man, that piano mix, man.
Yeah, he laid that mug out, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah. But you with that acid, that dun.
Well, that was my thing. That was my thing with DJ International. We were like, I've told this story so many times. We were Joe Smooth, Pete Black, and myself was like the house version of the Funk Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Smooth like on the production, Pete Black on the keys, and I was on the drums. So a lot of the records that came out of DJ International that was under other artists, this is the real producers. Rocky Jones put his name, but believe you me, Joe Smooth was the one that was arranging this shit to make it sound like it's supposed to sound. And Rocky did his mix. I'm not taking nothing away from the dude, but trust and believe, Joe Smooth was arranging it, and Big Black on the keys, and your dude was on the drums. That's kind of how I got my little, my little yank.
Well, I know that Joe Smooth is incredible, man. I'm gonna have to try to see if I can get him on to talk to him, because all the stuff that I heard he did from other people, all the stuff that I know he did from buying the records. I was always impressed with. But all y'all, you, Adonis, Marshall, Joe, all you guys are just so incredible. I mean, let's say you guys are the pioneers of house music. Hands down. I understand that Frankie's godfather, and Ron and Andre Hatchett and all those guys brought what they brought to the game. Of course, the Hot Mix 5 brought it to the radio with BMX. Right. But as far as the music, the stuff that you guys did on Trax Records and DJ International, I mean, every week, we was going up to imports, man. And if I saw your name on it, I was buying it. I didn't care what it sounded like. I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, Tyree did that. Let me grab that. Oh, Farley did that. Let me grab that. That's all it was. And man, like I said, some of the most incredible compositions. We were basically dealing with basic equipment. With the 909.
In those days, if you was fortunate enough to find a 909 or 808 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then you kind of got that, but you did what you had to do and made it do what it's supposed to do and made it sound like it's supposed to sound like. There was a lot of records that didn't get played that are like, when you listen to in retrospect, then they sound dope. But at that time, it was so much music coming out that was just, man, I don't know, just a lot of stuff that was just different. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff got overlooked, and at one point, I used to think it was down to the machine that you use, right?
Mm-hmm.
The early part of the house, you had an 808, then it flipped over to the 707, then it flipped over to the 909, and again, it just depends on what record we're talking about and who made it, so to speak, right? But the didn't matter, man. Some people just had a drum machine and a keyboard. I, on one hand, didn't have a drum machine nor a keyboard. As my mother used to say, I didn't have a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have jack. So, but I made some, some pretty decent music. You know what I'm saying?
So I remember the first time I heard your name. And I heard your name was DJ around the West Side. We from the West suburbs, so we always ended up on the West Side anyway, because our relatives is from K-Town and the areas over there. Yeah, we got family. Everybody from the West suburbs or from Aurora, we got family either Maywood and on the West Side.
You said K-Town. I grew up in K-Town, bro.
Yeah, I got cousins.
I'm a child of Les Finch Nursery School.
Okay. And
I go back to that.
I heard. I think you spun at Da Vinci Manor once or twice. I can't remember if it was Da Vinci Manor or I think there was a school over there that people did parties, a Catholic school. I can't remember the name of it. But I don't know if you were at Da Vinci Manor or where I saw you at, but I saw you somewhere, and I saw you spin. And I knew your name. And then
was it the Bismarck?
The Bismarck, yep. The Bismarck Hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because I think Diamond Core did some parties there. Lil Lewis did.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely didn't. It wasn't me with Lil Lewis. Me and that brother, we're cool as hell, but me and that brother, he never booked me for his party.
Really?
Oh no.
Wow, that's messed up.
He thought he did, but he never officially booked me for his party.
Oh wow!
I do have a funny story about Lewis though. You were speaking. You had mentioned some to me backstage, but I have a story like that too. One time, there was a big party that was supposed to happen at the McCormick place, and this promoter Marvin Terry was supposed to have done it, and it was like 5,000-10,000 kids down there at the place, and they shut it down. The McCormick place shut it down. They didn't want no party in the McCormick place at this time. Yeah. No.
Wow.
So they came back and we did a party at the McCormick Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they had 2 ballrooms, I believe. So Lil Lewis was on one side, Marvin Terry on the other side. I think it was Lil Lewis, Armando, maybe Pierre. I'm not for sure, but he didn't have many DJs. And I think it was Mike Williams, Boo Williams, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I think that was the lineup. Yeah, somebody made a lot of money, somebody made no money.
So, your first record I heard was "I Fear the Night."
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah.
Right, and I remember when it dropped. We all got on the train, came to the city, went to Imports or JR's, and we picked up the record. And it was I think you were on Underground. How'd you get about going on Underground Records? So it was one of DJ International sub labels, right?
Yeah.
So how'd you make your first record? What happened? How'd you get it signed? What'd you do?
Okay. I'm gonna get to, okay. Look, how I made it was Marshall Jefferson came to we used to do parties around Marshall Jefferson's mom's house, right? And I imagine I think he met Mike Dunn, or he might have met me first. I think he might have met Mike Dunn first, and Mike may have invited him down to the club we were playing at. And at this particular time, 5-0 shut us down because we didn't have the proper license, so they shut us down. So Marshall came up with the grand idea. Hey man, I got some equipment I like to put in here, man, so I can get it out of my mom's house so I can find another place to put it in. He was like, yeah, all right. So we is Mike Dunn, Hugo H, and myself, right? So Hugo H, Hugo Hutchinson, if nobody knows, right? Anyway, Marshall said he's gonna bring it down. So like, all right, cool. What we gonna say? We didn't have no equipment. We didn't have remotely the amount of equipment that this brother brought down. We talk about 32 track mixing board,
wow,
racks, 808, 707, 727, and this, that, and the third. So he was in the process of making, I believe, 7 Ways to Jack. I think he was in the process of, I think we had the equipment for like, in the studio, I'd imagine a few days. I just say no more than a few days. So we asked him, hey, since you're using the 707, can we use the 808? He said, yeah, okay. So we used it. Each one of us kind of like took turns. We paid him like $20. We said we had it for a week. So we kind of took turns and making tracks and whatnot. And so Mike Dunn, Hugo H, and myself started creating this pattern for I Feel the Night. So I was like, all right, cool. I asked my sister to sing on it. She sang on it, the demo, took it down to Lil Lewis. He said, yeah, he liked it and kept my cassette. I wouldn't use that. So what I used to do as a DJ is tell people that I was more famous than I actually was. So I have been lying. I mean, telling DJ International how popular I was on the south side of Chicago when it came to house parties.
Okay.
And I had this track that they should check out. I went down there, played in the track. I think Rocky played it like 15 times, and we house DJ, so it was a 30-minute cassette. You rock out when you don't think there's an end point. So needless to say, the song was like 15 minutes long. And so when Rocky played it 5 times, he said, he gave his opinions. He said, I think it needs strings. I'm like, strings. So Marshall asked for a drum machine. I'm trying to make a long story short. So Marshall asked for a drum machine. I gave him back his drum machine. And so Rocky said, hey, why don't you ask Marshall to play some strings on it? Who am I to say no? It's Marshall Jefferson. Right. Yeah, okay, no, yeah. So we tried it. He's like, Marshall said, hey man, this song don't need no strings, man. Tell him this song don't need no strings. Just release it as it is. I took it as he don't want to do it. I took it as he wasn't wrong. He really wasn't wrong. So, needless to say, so I asked Hugo and Mike what was the patterns that we used, because hey, come down to the studio. I'm about to get this signed. We walked down, and they didn't respond. I just said it like that. So I had to recreate that song in the studio. Mind you, it was supposed to have been done already. So as the studio engineer is setting up, I'm with the drum machine with headphones trying to recreate this track. Real talk. If Benji was here, he'd tell you. He said, dude, what are you doing? I said, yeah, I forgot what pattern it was. So I gotta kind of do it over. Dude, you cost the studio time. What are you doing? I said, yeah, I get. So yeah, that's the story I Feel the Night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of shut Chicago down, man, when that dropped. I mean, back then, what was it 87, I believe?
86.
86. So at 86, yeah, that's when, if I recall correctly, that's when Marshall Jefferson, the House Anthem came out. That's when
Love Can't Turn Around. All types.
Everything was dropping.
All
yours dropped. I think yours dropped in the summer because
in June it dropped. In June.
Yeah, because I think we were out of school and everybody was rocking the heck out of that. And Farley had made "Give Yourself to Me," and Chippy had made that film.
Like this was out. If You Only Knew was out at that time.
Yeah, If You Knew dropped hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack the House
had a chance.
Right.
What was that? It was another big one. Not Case My Love. It was like another big record that came out of Chicago around the same time. It was like a group of them just at one time. Just a group. Like the fuck. Like, and then Ralphie was the first person to play my record on the radio.
Ralphie Rosario?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nobody else touched it. Nobody touched
that for the night?
Ralphie was the first one to drop it.
Well, Ralphie would be. Ralphie is a smooth dude, man. He know how to blend them records.
Man, Ralphie forever got my love, bro.
Yeah.
Ralphie, when he found out it was me that made it, he was like, this record is hot. He said a lot of other things, but I just keep it PG. He said, this record is hot. I love this record. You know, all right, thanks, Ralphie. Thanks. You know.
Yeah. Wow. I can imagine that was a compliment, you know, at that particular moment. Because Ralphie, like I said, Ralphie's smooth DJ. I used to listen to his mixes a lot just because of how smooth he was and his choice of music.
Yeah, that too. I was about to say, not just because he was smooth.
His choice of music.
He was killing it. Mm-hmm. He was whether you was Boricua, you know, it didn't matter. You listen to all the brothers give Ralphie love. All the brothers give Ralphie love. That brother was just like, yo, smooth as silk.
Oh yeah. Again, that dude, I had the pleasure of hiring him for a couple parties and having him come out to Aurora. And it was always just, everybody loved hearing Ralphie when he came out. I loved watching him when he came out. I would always be DJing when he come, you know, and I'm, you know, okay, I'm gonna be cool. Let me get these records on beat. And then I would try some basic mix that I should be on beat, but I get so dang nervous because it's Ralphie and start drifting off. You know, it's like,
yeah.
Oh man. But so I Fear the Night, like I said, you stopped Chicago with that one, man. That put it out there. I remember that people play that song to now when we do our throwback parties. Of course, we still play it because people still love hearing it. You know, it was great composition. And then you and Fast Eddie did the WHOP. Now, how'd that come about?
Okay, shout out to my sister Chick that sang both those records.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I reside with here in Vegas.
Okay.
So the WHOP. I went over to Eddie's crib one day because we used to hang out. I'm trying to get this right. Went over to his crib one day and he was playing this track with his bass line. I'm like, that's nice. And he was using a 909 and he had an 808 too. I was like, shit, we can put both them motherfuckers under this, you know, and we can hang out, we can track out. He said, but it needs some words. Being the clowns that we are from time to time, like the jokesters and shit, we our intention was never to ever release it. It was just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So we took the Mickey out of You Can't Stop the House.
Mm-hmm.
Right? H. Oh, we just went W. You get the exact same thing. You know, we were just joking around. It wasn't really ever meant to ever been released. Never. It was never.
Wow.
As far as me and Eddie concerned, it was just a track to probably build on something we could have done later on in life. You know, just that was that beginning production, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I admired him, he admired my music, so forth and so on. So on two sides, we got approached by Thompson and Lenore. Larry Thompson approached Eddie, and Ricky Lenore approached me 2 different times. And I think they felt some kind of way about it, but it was like, oh, okay. I think Larry Thompson may have kind of threatened Eddie, and Ricky Lenore was kind of like, I don't know, maybe he was side-eyeing me some kind of way. I'm not even for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I was like, I bet. Get my sister to sing it, write some lyrics, get my sister to sing it, we put it out. Yeah, where? DJ International, where else? We both signed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That song took forever to come out because DJ International could not understand what that song was all about. When Eddie played it on the radio and I played it on the streets or in the parties, we got mad reactions. Even now, like to this day, right? And you're not the only one that talk about. I got people in London that said, "Hey, mate, that's a wicked bass line. It's a wicked bass line." I said, "Yeah, that's Fast Eddie on the bass line." And the 808 stuff in there, the 808 track is me and it's like a third. And so when it finally came out on a Jackmaster compilation that was $1 gazillion for people to get, yeah, it kind of took the sale of that. and me doing a lot of convincing to Rocky, like, yo, man, the song needs to be out. It's got a third. Woo. And so he finally put us in the studio and we released it.
Wow. Well, it was one of the most requested records when I was DJing, man. We had to have it. People wanted to do the WHOP. People loved the song. They knew what it was. You know, again, like I said, most of us out the Aurora.
Yeah, I think Rocky thought it was a racist song, right? Because he's Italian. No, don't talk.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I think he thought it was a racist song, and we trying to be racist and shit, right? You know, everybody, the WHOP. Let's WHOP, but you know,
That's hilarious, man. Now, when you guys, we talked about Acid Over, my personal favorite of everything you did outside of the hip house stuff, because Acid Over has an emotional attachment to me. So that's my song.
Okay, right on.
I play that now when I'm mixing. You know, if I have to play a couple of old school tracks, I'll play Acid Over. I'll play Movie Body by Two House People. I'll play Acid Thunder by Eddie. You know, that's kind of the zone when Taste My Love by Kimmons or something like that. That's where I'm at. But when I'm not playing the newer stuff that's out. But I see now. You say you were up in Detroit. Did you get to hang out with Derek May and Juan Atkins, Kevin Saunderson, and all them?
I was about to say, yes, I did. I lived in Detroit for like 6 months, 7 months, maybe 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a moment that it was just a time period I was going through. I say the rest of the book. I just said
right.
It was a time period I was going through in Chicago, and I said, "Fuck it," I just moved to Detroit. I stayed with Eddie Folks, my big brother forever. Love that dude. Mad Mike Banks from Underground Resistance. I've known Derek since the 80s. I've known Juan since the 80s. I've known them brothers since the 80s, like first name basis, like on site. Yeah, he's always been my Detroit brothers. Kevin Saunderson, I know that. Kenny Dixon, Rick Wilhite, I know these cats since they was like 14 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Detroit is I always say Detroit is my second home because I know so many people. Like Baxter, I've known since '85. I mean, I've known Blake Baxter. Most of these cats I know since '85. I know, and we was all in the music business.
Wow.
Yeah. Especially Derek and Kevin and Juan and Eddie Folks. I know them for the long.
Well, it's amazing. Just I know a lot of people probably like, man, all these legends hanging out, all these names, people whose records we play.
Thomas Barnett. I can go through Detroit. Sean Deason, Thomas Barnett, Drexia, Santonio Echoes. Man, I know so many. Rob Hood, you know what I'm saying? These my dudes right here, man. You know what I'm saying? These like on site, like Theo Paris, although Theo's from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I met him in Detroit, right? Detroit is my second home. Like I said, I lived there for like 7 months. Wow. And Juan Atkins was my neighbor, real talk.
Wow.
He's my next door neighbor, yeah.
Wow, I was just listening to some of his Cybertron stuff to explain it to my sons. You know, my sons, want to hear all the old B-boy stuff. And I said, yeah, this was something we used to get down to. And he says, from New York? I said, that's from Detroit, actually. And them dudes, I'll never forget when they dropped No UFOs, when Juan dropped that. Back in the old days, you go to the record store and you had imports and domestics. So I had my little lunch money ready to get paid $12 for an import when I heard No UFOs and Mind Games by Quest. I bought those both at the same time. And I thought they were both imports. Shout out to, Carl Bias and them from Jones and Liz Torres, and of course, shout out to Juan, and the Metroplex people. But when I went up there, man, and I found that they were from Detroit, I'm like, Detroit? I'm like, these dudes, and then I connected. These dudes have made Cybertron and Let's Go, so.
Well, Let's Go is Derek May.
Yo, yep. Let's Go is Derek.
And in fact, Derek May did a mix on one of the mixes that was kind of known in Chicago was a Mayday mix.
Really?
Yeah, that's Derek May.
Wow.
What happened?
No problem. I got you though.
Yeah. I'm doing so many things, but Juan, when I met Juan, when I got a chance to hang out with Juan, I said, you do know that No UFOs is going to be like in the House Music Hall of Fame, right? In Chicago. Like, for real, I was like, dude, there's, especially on the West Side, there was no place on the West Side of Chicago that you could go to, car parked or nothing, that you did not hear No UFOs.
No. We rocked the heck out of that. I had the D mix, I had the original mix, I still probably got 5 different versions or 5 different copies of No UFOs. I got the D mix, a couple of those. I got a black label, white label. I just collect them just to have them. The only record that I had as many of as No UFOs is probably El Nafis to Soul, It's Time by Hashim.
Yeah. But I told that to Juan. He just started laughing. I was like, dude, that record, you don't even understand. That was that, and there's Technicolor.
Oh yeah, Technicolor. We played. People love that Technicolor.
How do you think I know? I grew up on the West Side, but by that time I had left the West Side. I was a South Side brother, but hanging out with Ed and watching him DJ, that's how I knew. Oh yeah, he had to rock. You had to rock that record. And when you go to Detroit back in the day, yeah, they rocked it too. Which was, you know what I'm saying? Detroit was fun back in the day. I'm not gonna go on about Detroit, but Detroit was fun back in the day. The scene was very similar but different than Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a chance to check out the Music Institute, you know, which was I thought was a massive place to start. It was maybe a bit bigger than the Music Box.
Wow.
When you're in there, but when you in there, but because they had a high ceiling, it was a high ceiling, and the sound system they had was just, it reminded me of the Music Box. And Derek was playing his track. I was like, well, you sound like Ron Hardy, right? So he took that to heart. I was like, nah, just the tracks, dog. Just the tracks, dog. You really don't sound like Ron Hardy. It's just the sound and the music. The sound is just beating. Derek and I and Juan and Eddie Folks, man. But these, you know, I ain't gonna go down the road. Juan, you know, to this very day, we still cool.
That's good to hear, man.
Will Hyde, Kenny Dixon, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to name drop. It's just, see, when I lived in Detroit, that was who I hung out with. I hung out with Kenny. You know, real talk, me and Kenny hung out. That was my dude, man. That's my dude. Anyway, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay, we can talk about. I'm gonna try to get one of them Detroit dudes on. I can talk about them all day. Now, you had a song that came out. I think this came out in '88, and this was on Rocket House Records, and that was "Video Crash." Now, of course, Lil Lewis had his song. You know, well, I think he did. What do he call his Video Clash or something like that? I can't remember. Right. Video Clash. So. There were basically 3 songs that I remember with the boom, 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 boom. And I think Mike Dunn made one, I believe. So my thing is now Lil's was good. I like Lil's. I did. You know, I would play it. When I go to Medusa's, when he was spinning up there, I listened to him play it. I liked it, of course. But yours was, I like playing yours because it was kind of more of a driving boom, 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 boom. It kind of just kept on going. It kept the party beating. It didn't have a breakdown where it kind of lost the crowd. It just kept boom, boom. You know. So how'd y'all all come up with this concept at the same time? I know there's a story behind that
one. Right. So again, the famous trio, Mike Dunn, Tyree, and Hugo and shit, right? You know, we all understood that it was just a thing that we figured. I put it like this: it was a thing that we figured that Lewis didn't have a right to put it out because Marshall made it, so we just did our own version.
Oh, good.
To make a long story short, I was about to go into some sinister, Simon Bar sinister type shit. But nah, it was just we just made our own version. And oddly enough, when that song first came out, when those songs first came out, all three of them, because they relatively came out like back to back. I think Lewis came out first. Mine came out second. Or Mike came out second. Mike came out. One of the two. I know Lewis came out first.
Mm-hmm.
His came out first, and I think like within a couple of weeks, ours dropped. I have no idea. I haven't had no control over it. So when it came out, when I went to the distributors, because I was working at Quantum Distributors, Benji's distribution, Benji Espinoza.
Mm-hmm.
I use that at their site. I asked the distributors which songs, you be arrogant, you want to know if your shit is selling or not. Like, hey, which song is moving? Oh, Mike Dunn, y'all got some more Mike Dunn Magic Feet? You got some more Mike Dunn Magic Feet? You got some more Mike Dunn Magic Feet? I don't know the numbers. I always say I just give it a bar. I say Mike Dunn, if he sold 8,000, I don't know how many. I don't know. I just saying if he sold 8,000, because that was kind of like the back in the day. That was your pre-order. Mm-hmm. Selling 8,000. If Mike sold 8,000, Lewis sold 6. I did 2. But mine got bootleg, and theirs didn't.
Oh God! Yeah.
And then the bootleg made that record famous because the bootlegger, the mother, Jeffrey Collins, he changed the title to Acid Crash. Mm-hmm. So most of the world, unless you're from Chicago, you know it as Video
Acid Crash. Wow.
And the rest of the world knows it as Acid Crash.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they were, well, I saw, my mom was in the music business for a little bit, so I made a habit not to buy bootleg records because she explained to me a long time ago, back when I was a kid, what that was and how that rips off the artist. So if I saw a white label bootleg, I'm just going to keep looking till I find one that the guy's going to get paid for. That's just how I get it.
If you saw a TYREE record that said Acid Crash in 1988, you go, oh yeah, I buy his records blindly. I'm buying this, and you go, wait, hey, don't I have this record already? Mm-hmm. Acid Crash. Is TYREE crazy? Is he stupid? He did the same record on another label, just renamed it. Like, nah, I play crazy on TV, but I'm not crazy in for real life. You know what I'm saying? And they made that record that much famous. So I licensed both Video Crash and Acid Crash. I own both of them.
That's good.
Yeah, I own both of them. So.
That's good. Now, Rockin' House Record, was that y'all label or was that someone else's label?
Alahim Nazadi Adersi. And when I say Alahim Nazadi Adersi, that means may Allah rest him in peace.
Okay.
That's Turkish phrase. But Rockin' House was from Rodney Baker, a musician, former vet from the service. I'm not sure, maybe Army, Marines, Air Force, one of the services. And he lived in Europe for a long time, and he felt as though, he's from Chicago. He wanted to give the Europeans a little of what Chicago was all about and give it from a brother's perspective. Mm-hmm. And he he gave opportunities. He gave opportunities to brothers that may not have gotten a chance on the dominant labels, on DJ International or Trax Records. They may not have gotten a chance, so he gave brothers an opportunity to get their art out. Oddly enough, he had heard of me. I on the other hand was looking for a paycheck. I got a baby girl, and I'm looking to get paid because DJ International wasn't paying me enough for my records. Mm-hmm. That's a whole story. So I was looking for the paycheck, but that was the initial. But after he and I started talking, He was just a down brother. He was just a brother trying to help brothers like Ray Barney. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ray Barney's one of them brothers. Like he could say, I always tell him, if somebody's ran up to you, say, "Are you your brother's keeper?" He can say emphatically. I mean, emphatic. That's not the word. He can say not conviction, with a veracity of fervor. That's the word I'm looking for. Fervor. He can say it and say it proud with his chest stuck out. Yes, I am.
Wow.
Ray Barney can say that. He can definitely say that.
Mr. Barney, I met him a couple times at the record store, and I would go over there, and he would talk. He was always friendly. You know, we young DJs, we ain't famous, but
not Mr. Barney. He was cool, but Ray Barney, Ray Jr. Dude, this dude.
Well, he always was very, with us when we come in to get the records and stuff. He was always so straight up, real. He didn't treat us like we're just a bunch of kids just coming in there.
That's my point. He didn't treat us like a product.
No, he did not.
No, he didn't. He didn't smile in your face, and pat you on your back, and saying to you one thing, but his mind was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck him good. I'm gonna fuck him. I'm gonna fuck him over. You better not sell X amount of copies because you will not see any money."
Wow.
At all. I mean, I don't think the dominant labels. I don't think the dominant labels intended that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how the thing went down. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't think any label intends to screw their artists over. I don't think that's the intention.
Right.
But Ray Barney was not on that page at all. I had a great time recording for Dance Mania, and Rockin' House was kind of like the catalyst for that. I put a trust in the brother when he said he couldn't sell no records. Hey, he couldn't sell no records. What can I do? Well, he didn't even know the record video crash was being bootlegged.
Wow.
Right. So like I said, he told me he sold about a couple thousand. That's all I went on. But I left that demo alone, and then I went to Ray after DJ International. I went to Ray Barney and I had a great time. And I said great time, I had a great time.
Wow. Well, a lot of good music came off Dance Mania Records, man. And, some of the what they call ghetto house now stuff that they do on there. The kids like it, and they're still making records. But the stuff that obviously I remember House Nation, and I remember the stuff.
Yeah, Jack my body. Jack my body.
I remember that, man. Because
Can't fight my love. All the rest of that, can't fight my love.
With Victor Romeo.
Yeah, exactly. Love will find a way. All that good shit, man. Yeah, Ray Barney was even like what's my man 3B. What's his name? What's his 3B a Bad Boy Bill? What's my man name? I'm going by his real name. I can't think of his name. Darren. I forgot. Brother D. 3B.
Brother D. Oh yeah, the Brother D.
3B and the Brother D.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was on Dance Mania.
Wow.
Garcia put out a few records on Dance Mania.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So Ray just didn't do it like on some soul power shit. Like if you got an idea, you ain't have a way to get it out. I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
And if it sells, we can continue to do business. Here's your money. This is what I made. Bob's your uncle.
Wow.
When he couldn't do no more, then he couldn't do no more. As simple as that. That's why I said I had a great time. I even said to DJ International in an interview, had I known Ray Barney was going to be this cool, y'all would never got none of my records.
And, I'm glad to hear that, man, because we hear so many stories about labels, ripping off artists in Chicago. Man Parrish told me about labels that ripped him off in New York in similar ways. I mean, when he was telling me about Boogie Down Bronx, now he didn't see none of the royalties for that bad boy, and didn't see none of the royalties for Hip Hop Bebop, and he went into the story about how, and, I hear these stories so much, and it's just horrible to hear that for artists because you put your heart and soul into these classics, and in our mind as the DJs, we thinking y'all driving Rolls Royces and living in penthouses and stuff, and a lot of times it was far from that. You know, when you really hear the stories about what was
literally far from that. What did he say? It was all a dream. You know what I'm saying? But at one point in time, when you're young and impressionable, you don't really think about it. When you get, I put like this, or I just use the smallest scale. When you get like $10, that seems a lot, but you don't understand you owed $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I just say it like that, right? That's not necessarily it, but if you get 10, you think 10 is okay. And if you continuously get 10, you think 10 is the norm. And on the other side, you see something that resembles a check, but you're not for sure how to decide, how to figure out what that check is for, what it really means.
Mm-hmm.
So you see a percentage on there, you go, okay, why does it say this percentage? If I did this, that, and the third, shouldn't it say this much?
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know. And then, how did I get a check in the first place? Because I never filled it out. Who filled it out for me?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? Just different little stuff. So you don't really pay attention to until the dust is clear,
Mm-hmm.
and the ashes are all gone, and then you can see clearly, right? Then it's up to you to figure out, what you want to do.
Wow.
You gonna fight, or you gonna lay down?
Mm-hmm.
I use a Foxy Brown line. I'm not just an in the street dude. I'm an in the street dude. So I fought.
Mm-hmm.
Not industry. I'm in the street. So I fought. I fought for my rights. I didn't know if I was gonna win or whatever. So most artists don't really do that. They just and look again. Nothing against them or nothing like that. I just chose to be different. That's all.
So do you own the rights for all your music?
Sir.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
All of them. Everything that got TYREE Cooper on it first, yes.
That's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to hear that, man. So I got people asking me when we get to the hip house era, I actually, enjoyed you and Fast Steady and Cool Rock and that particular moment in time. I enjoyed it. Not just because, y'all brought rap into it, but y'all had good productions as well. It wasn't just rapping over a house beat. Y'all made some real good songs.
Sure, I appreciate that.
And y'all albums were great. Again, I was, this was between my year of college and going into the military. So, I was trying to get deals and sending demos all over the world to Atlantic and Elektra and stuff like that. Nothing happened. But I got signed to
Did you do something about House Jam?
I got signed on with KMS, and I did a couple songs with them. They didn't come out,
Yeah. Name on it, you mean?
Yeah. Let me be quiet. All right. So I did some stuff later though.
I'm joking.
But when you made Turn Up the Bass, man, like I said, you, Eddie, and Cool Rock, and you had Cool Rock. So how did y'all meet, and what made y'all collaborate?
I met Cool Rock originally in 1985 at a DJ battle on the north side of Chicago. We both lost, but according to Cool Rock, as long as Cool Rock figured he beat me, he was cool. He was cool, and he was hip hop even then. And being the cousin of Africa Bambaataa, he had no shame in telling people that upon meeting, So I met him then, and then Eddie. In the midst of all that, 3 years later, like in '88, 87, 86, for whatever reason, Eddie wasn't down at DJ International, so he came back, and he came back with this concept, and he put down Yo Yo Get Funky, right? And DJ International got geeked. It was like, yo, TYREE, you got to do one of these. I'm like, no, that's Fast Eddie's thing.
Right.
Deep house. And I'm not even trying to go down that road. And Benji was like, he said a lot of other different words because that was my dude, man. Ali was out there. Benji said, "Hey, man, you should think about doing it. It may be the biggest record in your life, of your career." I'm like, all right. I had to think of a rapper. I was like, so our first person I called was JMD, right? I said, "Hey Jay, I got this record, man. You can rap over." He said, "Man, look, I'm not. Let me hear it." "No, I ain't doing that. No, I'm not doing none of that. No, I'm not. I'm Tyree. We cool. You my big brother and everything, but yo, dog, I'm not doing that." So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna piss him off. I'm gonna get his competition. I was like, hey, Liddell, what's Cool Rock number? Like, why? Because before then, Liddell and Cool Rock did a song called "I'll Make You Dance," right? Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, I got a song for Cool Rock. I think he'd be good on. Got his number. He said, let me hear the track. I went to his crib. I did one better. I went to his house, played it for him. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. No problem. The Rocky came back. He did it. A few months later, the song came out. Bob's Uncle. I mean, it was pretty much just that fast.
Wow.
It was just that. It was, when I say it happened quick, like I Dream of Jeannie, blink her eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it exactly happened that kind of quick. And that's my brother for that's my brother for eternity. That dude, because he introduced me to the Zulu Nation.
Mm-hmm.
In Zulu Nation, he introduced me to Bambaataa. He introduced me to African Islam, who's still to this very day still my big brother. Ice-T, Bronx Style Bob, Rap Syndicate, Everlast, Donald D. I mean, dude, anyway. Yeah, he opened that door for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Cool Rock. To the point I know the Jungle Brothers. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Anyway, yeah. After that, man, the song blew up. Next thing you know, we're going to London, and the song is steadily going up the charts. We thinking, dance chart or whatever. We're not thinking pop chart. We don't even thinking the type of label we on. It's just also brand new to us because we're from America and Chicago. But I don't think we really, or I didn't really realize this was the entire country that was vibing to the joint. And it was a few countries vibing to the joint.
Yeah,
quite a bit. They like little states to me for all intents and purposes and shit, right? So, yeah, next thing I know, they said we doing Top of the Pops. I'm like, the fuck is a Top of the Pops? Yeah, that's like the national program when your record's a pop hit. I'm like, a pop hit? Like pop star pop hit? Like turn up the bass, a pop record. What? Mm-hmm. And I thought about what Benji had said. Maybe it might be the biggest record, one of the biggest records in your career.
Benji always saw things ahead of time. I gotta give it to him.
He is, and he was DJ International. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. Not just because if your record didn't get through Benji, your record wasn't coming out. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it was. That's just how it was. Rocky didn't say, hey, look, Benji, listen to this. Rocky come down with a record, he go, yeah, it's all right. Who you gonna sell it to? You know what I'm saying? How am I gonna sell the mother? This mother gonna collect babies. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. But Benji was, yeah, he saw the scene as we did, but on a different scale. I can't say why, because once you sell records for as long as he did, and you go through a disco phase, a punk rock phase, of selling records, not necessarily personal journey, but like selling the records, and you see this genre shifts, yeah, you can pretty much call a hit. You can call a hit out the air. You can pull a hit out the air. That's gonna be a hit. So you can imagine from the time DJ International started, how many hits DJ International had. How many of them Benji picked?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a recipient of one of them picks. Mm-hmm. I'm at the front. After the night was a recipient of that. He said, "Man, we gonna sell a shitload of these records."
And y'all did.
Yes.
We would we would sometimes catch a train out to Chicago, come on down over to DJ International, and just sit there and talk to Benji and Armand. We would talk to them, and we come with our little demo tapes, and he tell us, "Oh, do this, do that," and he'd give us some promo copies. Sometime we thought, going back to Aurora with promos of something.
He gave you a promo?
Benji gave me a promo. He gave me a promo.
Oh, this dude, man.
He gave me a promo. He gave me a promo. Actually, take that back. He gave me a test pressing. I'll never forget. He gave me a test pressing of Jack the House by Chippy, and it was just heard on the radio.
Okay.
I went back that weekend to Aurora. I went up to the little DJ booth. I think Hitman was doing a party. He let me spin. Nobody had it.
Femme Jack the House.
Yes, Femme.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hold my little test pressing up and it has a little A on it. And everybody's, ooh, what's that? And that Jack crowd lost their mind. I felt so cool. I always just tell Benji, you gave me the biggest moment of my DJ career, breaking a record out in my hometown. So
right.
He was always real nice to us, man. And I had done a project.
Man, Benji was cooler than the air conditioner, man. Benji was always. He didn't care what race. He didn't care what race or nothing. None of that. That was oblivious to him. This dude was like, unless you wasn't a dick, he was talking to you.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. I could just talk to you about all this stuff all day, man.
It's all good.
When y'all made Turn Up the Bass, well, I'm gonna tell you from a perspective of DJ, I enjoyed playing the record. I enjoyed listening to the record. I enjoyed watching you guys perform the song. And I got to meet Cool Rock. We did a party at UIC, and he came up and he just came out, hung out. I think it was with Bad Boy Bill. Can't remember, but he was a straight up cool dude. And to us at that time, like y'all say, y'all may not have knew how big it was, but y'all might as well have been, freaking, Run DMC or somebody who was that big to us because y'all album was out. We knew it was playing. We talked to people in other places in New York and, Baltimore, and they were playing it and everybody was playing it. It was on the radio. So again, that's in our head. Y'all flying in Learjets and living in the penthouse on Michigan Avenue as far as how we saw it, but
definitely no Learjet. We had Nikes. we had a flight suit, but that wouldn't constitute as a Learjet having a Jordan flight suit with the mesh on the side. But I when I did the Palladium in New York, it kind of hit me then. I'm like, wow, I'm at the Palladium. How come I'm not at the Apollo?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm at the freaking Palladium, dog. This shit was overpacked.
How did the crowd respond to you guys, man?
You guys, it's just me.
How did the crowd respond to you? I mean, just
okay. It wasn't just me. It was Eddie didn't do that show. It was Daisy D, Musto and Bones. It was one of them type of radio kind of hit parties. They responded to me well, man. They it's Turn Up the Bass. When the line comes, everybody say I could just hold the microphone out.
Turn up the bass.
Yeah, TYREE Cooper, the producer. I can just hold that out. Everybody, they sang that. So I had a very, very warm reception. So it was real cool for me. I got a chance to meet Musto and Bones and Frankie Bones. I turned out his younger brother and I are real cool. I forgot Adam's DJ name. We real cool. Daisy D, her and I turned out to be fucking cool as shit when I lived in Germany and shit. That's my girl. That's one cool ass sister. Who else? There's a whole group of people, man, that was on that. But the Palladium, and then I don't know if people remember the Dance Party USA back in the days. Come on, USA Channel. Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, I performed on that too.
Wow.
Yeah. With my TYREE gold chain, with a Movado on this arm, a Gucci on this arm, rings on my finger. And the young lady said, Does house music pay that much? I had my Gumby, I had my little Bobby Brown, my little Gumby jumping off.
Yeah, remember them? When I had hair, I had one.
Yeah, Gumby, like a little Gumby and shit. Yeah, it was cool, man. I even did when MTV Europe launched for all of Europe, they had a series of concerts. I was on the Holland tour.
Mm-hmm.
Did like, I don't know, 20 some odd dates or some shit like that. It would be the equivalent to like spring break, how they do it now. It was the equivalent of that. I did every show. Some people did 2, 3 shows. I did every show. I was on every show. It was cool, man. Like I said, it was fun time. It was fun time.
Wow. And like I said, you have so many hits, man. But the other one I want to talk about is Let the Music Take Control, because that's the one I saw you perform at the Riv. And you had that crowd going, man. You let the music take. You had that crowd losing their damn mind, man.
Right.
I was like, man, this brother. I mean, like I said, even though I didn't know you, we knew you through your music, and we were, as the DJs of Chicago, all of us, that was playing the music. We loved seeing you guys do that, because it was like y'all put Chicago on, and y'all just that good. And we were so proud of you guys. So whenever we saw y'all perform and hype a crowd up, or when like if Eddie was DJing or whatever it was, it just excited us. We was like, man, because it gave us the idea that we could do that too. We could maybe reach that level one day. But it was just good seeing you perform, man. I had actually came home on leave because I had joined the military. And so let's go to the Riv. TYREE gonna be performing. We go up there, man. And I knew Tony Batoy, oh, come on in. So I get in there, man. Next thing I know, let the music take. I'm like, that crowd was losing it, man. Now, how did y'all come up with that when you and Joe?
No, that's all I mean. I came up with that whole concept. So one day, you get inspired by different things. Mm-hmm. So I just say I was inspired by a Kool and the Gang song to come up with the hook. Because if I sang the song, people go, oh yeah. I know Kool and the Gang is that I didn't take anything from them, but
right.
The song really the concept came from Kool and the Gang, and I was like, that sounds like a night. But if I say, let the music take control, let the music take control, if I get somebody to sing, yeah, I could try that. I tried singing with hip house. It's kind of R&B-ish, house-ish kind of thing. It's very black is what I was trying to go for and shit, right? Not to say that Turner Bass was so white. I was just going for more the brother, soulful side, because they at this particular time, a lot of people wasn't really feeling hip house, because they, for whatever reason they wasn't feeling it. So I figured I tried to do something a little bit more soulful. And
y'all had haters, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. The New York dudes, in my opinion,
they were from Chicago.
Yeah, it was Chicago, the so-called real house people, because some of my friends were, at that time, we called the deep house crew, was guys my age that for some odd reason pretended that they were around when Frankie Knuckles was mixing, and all they wanted to hear was disco. And I'm like, dude, our parents went to them parties. You weren't there. I would tell you was not at the warehouse with Frankie Knuckles. Quit pretending. But they had to get abstract and super deep. We still had them type in Chicago. My thing was, though, it was a natural progression. I'm gonna tell you what I didn't like that came out at that time. I liked what you and Eddie were doing and Mr. Lee and them were doing, but I kind of gravitated to what you and Eddie were doing because it was more soulful. It was more feeling to it. It was more authentic to me in Chicago. Mm-hmm. But when they started making like, no disrespect, but I don't know if I should say that because I'll never get the interview on, but when Todd Terry made Royal House, I absolutely despised that song.
Royal House?
Yes, I despised
it. That was the shit.
You know why I despised it? Because I felt like, my loyalty, my Chicago loyalty. I'm like, these New York dudes gonna take our song and do this, that, and that, blah, blah, blah. I gotta admit it was cold, a hit. But I didn't like I was so used to hearing stuff by Marshall and Mr. Fingers and Adonis. That was, I'm used to that boom, 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 just music, So I felt it took house music in a direction. I think it should have went the direction that Marshall and Kim Mazel and all them was doing. And when what's his name? KLX and Shelby made Essence of a Dream, all that stuff. I was hoping it went that way, but it went the other way, So
yeah, Essence of a Dream. Oh my God.
That is
I talked to Kay today. I still I talked to Kay today. I still say that's still one of my favorite.
It's still one of
I thought he was a Martian. He could have been a Martian that made that.
Yeah, that was so smooth. I love that stuff. So that's why I kind of gravitated what you and Eddie did. I always, I still admire Fast Eddie, So,
okay.
So it was, y'all is from the West Side and, and the music y'all did was just, to me, that was some of the best house music in Chicago. The stuff.
Yeah, man, it was a different period, man. I mean, like, I always wanted to separate myself from. I didn't want everybody to think I stole, sounded like, bit that any one of those forms, because I'm trying to be original. If you're around creativity, trust and believe. You got to be either shut out or try to your best not to steal somebody's stuff. Mm-hmm. Especially back in the day, because there's only so many of us and it was limited. But I always try to set myself apart from everybody, even hanging around them. I wanted to set myself apart. I didn't want to sound like Eddie. I didn't want to sound like Mike Dunn. I didn't want to sound like Hugo. I didn't want to sound like Hula, Maurice, E Smooth. I didn't want to sound like none of them. None of them. And they didn't. I'm quite sure they didn't want to sound like me either. So I just prided myself after that. But I didn't too much care about the haters. But when Let the Music Control came out, it went to the pop chart in the UK. I think it went to into that 53, and I think it wound up doing at 33 or some crazy shit like that. Man.
Wow.
Hardcore hip hop probably would have went double platinum.
Oh yeah.
But DJ International licensed that record before FFR wanted it, and FFR wanted it for my album, but that's a whole nother mess. Anyway.
Benji told me straight up some missteps that DJ International made with some of them he told me about. Yeah. Some of the for like Senora, so what happened with If You Only Knew, how they made a mistake in trying, and it could have went somewhere different. Because we always wondered, I'm be honest with you, we always wondered why, like If You Only Knew, when Ralphie did Used to Hold Me, when you and Eddie did your albums, we like, this should be on a major label. The production was that good, the songs were that good, and
they stole. The first person to get ripped off was Adonis.
Wow.
Do It Properly.
Oh yeah.
Two black men and a Puerto Rican. Adonis the first one to get ripped off.
Wow.
The moment No Way Back came out, Cole and Cavellas had Do It Properly.
Wow.
And everybody else stole it after that. So sometimes it amazes me how some people think that Chicago was like just this decadent place of house music and so overloaded. And we was just at that time, and we was just figuring this shit out our damn. So we were just figuring out the music business for all intents and purposes. And Adonis is the first motherfucker to get ripped off. Like, damn, like my man just made the record. You know what I'm saying? Can he eat from it? And then Marshall get ripped off, and then I get ripped off. And it's like, yo, what's the real drill? And this is in the 80s. This is in the early 80s, dog. This is mid 80s. This is like, you're talking like 85, 86, and 87.
Wow.
This is before TYREE did Royal House.
Mm-hmm.
Love Can't Turn Around got covered by this group from Philly Cream.
I remember that version.
Dude, stop playing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, this is in the beginning of it. There was no, again, as you say, there was no Ferraris. There wasn't even no Lincoln Continentals with the diamond in the back. Something top, digging in the scene with a gangster lean.
Wow.
We was just leaning, and there was a lot of people that was just gangsters anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, and they was stealing it from us, and they was making the money because we damn sure didn't.
Mm.
You know, I bet you can ask Don and say, "Hey man, did you get any money from Cole and Converse when they put that record out, do it properly?" He might choke you. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. And that's really messed
and again,
up.
it's all love because we appreciate people loving the music, but like I said, a lot of times people get it twisted. Like we just sometimes they think we just in Chicago they think we just ABC, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what ABC means? Oh, ass backwards in country.
Oh, okay, country.
Mm-hmm. No, ass backwards in country.
Ass backwards in country.
Right. They think we ABC, but we some intelligent brothers, you know. Fingers worked on the stock exchange. I quit the job on the stock exchange.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? To make fucking music.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But yeah, it was a different time, man. But you know, they were the first to get ripped off, and they kept getting ripped off every time. And so, you know, I think New York started house music. You know, Chicago,
oh yeah,
we was just there.
I've had
some of us did something, but not all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all did this, but not all of y'all. You know, it's crazy. There's so many untold stories of DJs and parties that don't really, you know, like when we talk about party, we don't talk about the West Side party. We don't even talk about the Manor. They don't talk about the Firehouse. You know, they don't mention the Factory. You know, things of this nature. You know, these are all parties that the Reds. They don't even mention the Reds. You know, these are parties on the West Side and that did numbers and yeah, unless you know like you're from Chicago, then you'll know about these parties. But a lot of them, man, was like stupid packed. You could throw a party. You say, look, we having my party. When your party is gonna be Friday. You got 700 motherfuckers showing up at your party. You know what I'm saying? You just passed out the flyers on Thursday. You see what I'm saying? So it was one of them type of things. So yeah, it was Chicago, man.
Well, man, I appreciate you even bringing that up because that's part of the reason why I've been doing these interviews. Is you know, I know a lot of people in New York, and I've had some tense discussions about that. Some people in New York or some people elsewhere believe that's where house music was born. So I like getting different people on and telling the story about what really happened. House music comes from Chicago, everybody. I'm
all day long they come from Chicago, you know.
Exactly.
Southside rude boy, I tell you. Southside. West Side make the beats because we make the tracks. West Side makes the beats. You figure.
Well, like to let the music take control. Y'all got that. Y'all got the little sample of Farley's Funkin' with the drums in there.
Y'all again, ain't no y'all, bro.
Or you?
Ain't no y'all, bro. That's all me, bro.
Okay, so you had the sample of Farley Funkin' with the drums in there. You know that.
Call it a sample. You know, we had drum machines back in DJ International.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's a sample. No, that's a sample.
I didn't know if y'all pulled out the Lynn drum and redid it.
Yeah, no. I would have had to tune that motherfucker, and Rocky gave away his Lynn drum. So
okay,
yeah, that's the sample. But that was just me doing, you know, trying to take. That was just me trying to give a little bit of Chicago. That's all. I got some. I was just me giving back to Chicago.
Well, that's how I actually looked at it because again, you know, as DJs we mix records, you know, right. And a lot of times we're mixing things to get the essence of something. When we're mixing two records, the essence of something, so people can feel it and know where it comes from. Because I would say funkin' with the drums, like Mystery of Love, you know, those are songs that are Chicago.
Jeffrey Saunders 5A.
Yes, those are Chicago songs. That's when you know this is Chicago. This is how we do
drums 1 and 2.
And 2 Virgo, you know,
Virgo tracks. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Disco D. This is house music. That's why when I had discussions with New York, they said, "Man, y'all got it from disco." I go, "No, that's wrong." Well, what about Mystery of Love? That has nothing to do with disco. Well, Jack Your Body. Yes, let the man put us under. But 5A from Jesse Saunders, Funkin' with the Drums, Funk with the Drums Again, I Good Night, Dance Mother, Femme Fion, Jack the House. None of them sounds anything remotely close to disco. No. I mean, not even in the mix itself, production-wise, it does not sound like disco. Because we had our own thing in Chicago, right? We were some black folks that like to hear bass. So when our mobile sound systems, when you heard our mobile sound system, you thought you was in a club.
Mm-hmm.
When you went to, like you mentioned, your aforementioned Bismarck or Da Vinci, whoever put them sounds in there, that was for concerts generally.
Yeah, they meant that.
Right. So when you went to and mind you, these are just mobile places. This wasn't a club. No. This is a one night only type of thing.
Set it up and let it go.
Right. Man, what they call it now? Plug and play. Mm-hmm. Feel me? Plug and play. So you plug them off again, you in this moment here.
Yep.
So when that was jumping off, man, you start playing these. We played disco and we played house. We'll play the house with the disco because some of that disco didn't have a heavy foot. It didn't have no punch.
That's when you put that track behind. Mm-hmm.
That track made that disco house, but the track itself was house all
by itself. Exactly.
When Ron Hardy put that Sensuous Black Man and Jesse Saunders track, the epitome of house. It was just drums and some nasty money talking.
Mm-hmm.
But it drove you batshit crazy people when you heard it.
Climbing up the walls of the music box.
Sensuous Black Man, I want you down here. And that was that drive. The drive. Pierre's. I can only imagine when Ron dropped acid tracks for the first time at the warehouse, at the music box, right? You can imagine what is this twirling, tweaking sound that's in my ear that sounds crazy, but this beat is killing it.
I'm gonna tell you, I only heard Ron Hardy mix twice. I heard him drop acid tracks, and then later I heard him play "We're Rocking Down the House." The first time I heard those two songs, Ron played them. You know, we go down Chicago. Okay, we go on the music box, right? Go in there. I had bought a copy. I had a copy of acid tracks because, you know, everybody was, whenever I heard everybody playing the cocaine song, I wasn't playing. And I wasn't playing the acid tracks because I didn't understand it. At that time, you know, I was just getting my mind wrapped around playing music is the key, right? So I hear Ron, and all of a sudden, and it's just banging, and people are literally climbing the walls. I came up listening to Julian Perez and Farley and Hot Mix 5 mixes, so I understood we mix on beat. That's what we do, blah, blah, blah. So to see Ron, I didn't understand it. I'm like, he's not on beat. That was my first thing. But I saw how the crowd was reacting to what he was doing and how much emotional control he had over them. And when that acid track, this is a record I didn't play because, you know, I'm used to, okay, we got this many measures. Here's the break. And now mix something else. That song wasn't one of those. You had to know how to do some different things. So when the acid tracks dropped, I was like, oh my God.
But that's my point. Where was the disco at in acid tracks?
Oh, there was no disco in that.
Where's the disco at? Where's the disco at in Promised Land? No, I say Promised Land and Devotion.
No, that's house music. That's house.
That's the epitome of deep house, right? Mark
Deep House, yeah.
Deep House on Kim Ezell, KLX. So when I explain that to people, and sometimes they get it because there's no disco in any of that. No. Not even in the arrangement. A song is arranged according to feel and according to what direction you lead the song to. That's how you arrange your song. That's how you mix down your songs according to which direction. If you're gonna make a slow song, then you ain't making the kick drum the most dominant.
No.
You know what I'm saying? There's other elements in that, so you mix it and arrange it accordingly, right? There is no disco in any of those songs that we've mentioned.
No. We know disco structured a certain way. And that's what gets me when I'm talking to people. I'm not going to mention any names of any DJs, but there was a set. This had to be about maybe 10 years ago. I'm out in the south suburbs, and they're mixing. I'm from Aurora, so they don't really know me. And they're mixing. I got my little Crater Records, man. And I'm looking at the crowd. I'm looking at the crowd. The crowd's my age. You know, these are guys that graduated 87, 88, 89. And these guys is trying to do Frankie Knuckles impressions. I'm like, you're playing records long. You're playing all this disco. The crowd was like, yeah, we know the song. And I said, what is y'all doing? They said, well, you know, we would do. I said, first of all, y'all ain't old enough. Y'all never was at the music box or at the warehouse. You never was at Frankie Knuckles warehouse. And these people listen to BMX. They said, what you going to do? You from where? I said, let me show you how this works. All right. And then I get on there, I play Acid Thunder, and the crowd loses it because that is what house music is.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is what their memories are of.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
All the first choice and all that stuff is not.
Right. Look, when I came up as coming into this game as a DJ, that came in the mix of. That was kind of more on the that came in the mix of. Like I said, I came in DJ in 82, 83. This is my senior year in high school. So I'm I'm between. It's so Chicago. I'm between BMX and the playground.
Okay.
Right. So the playground is where I cut my chops. I was a dancer before. I was a dancer before I was a DJ. So I got into dancing first. So when I did that, it was a different ball game. So my ear was Hot Mix 5, Farley and Steve Hurley and Leonard Roy and right. These Lil Jon even. So they played disco, but they also played the Italian records that was kind of being played.
Klein and B.O.
Right. And then I kid you not, like by 1984, all that shit came to an end. All that came to an end. All that Klein and MBO, all that came to an end. It was Chicago house. It was all about the tracks. Faces Drums is about the only track that survived those times.
The Italian,
electronic drums, the fast one and the slow one. Yeah, they kind of, you know what I'm saying? They kind of withstood the test of time. It's the classics, but the rest of that shit.
We were done with it. Don't get me wrong. I love Italo disco. I do too. I do too. That transition point, you're right. It was all about what y'all was making, you know. We had the hottest shit on the cassette side, right? Because if you had Jamie back in the day, if you had Jamie Principle, I thought was a millionaire. If you had Jamie Principle, shit, you had to party. Yes.
Because this shit was so rare. It was like, shit, which Jamie do you get? Oh, your copy is fucked up. No, I got a copy from a copy that copied the copy that copied. But it didn't matter. Any iteration of Jamie, and you rock that up now, I read down the sleeve, and people still go crazy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You had the chippy demo version of Godfather.
Yes, I remember that.
You had that, you had certain records, like if you had the original copies of, your DJ career was taking off. You know, like I had a good friend who told me that, I ain't gonna say his name, but I heard him play this record called Work the Box, right? Like, yo, dude, this track is sick. Who made this? He proudly, his stoic face, like, man, this is my track. What do you think, mate? I made it. I'm looking at him like, nah, this too futuristic for you. You ain't make this. Who made it, man? I made it. Okay, let's trade some music. What you got? Hey, give me this. But they wanted the Mike Dunn. I said, I can't give you the Mike Dunn. I give you some other stuff, but I can't give you Mike Dunn. He said, all right. I gave him like 4 tracks or some shit like that. And he gave me the track. I kid you not, it must have been about a week later, 2 weeks later. I met this guy, I knew this guy Vinny Devine from
Mm-hmm.
WHOP from back in the day, and we were hanging out. We was talking. He said, "Hey man, hey, have you heard my new track? Like, you making records, Vinny? No, what track is that? What word?" I'm like, hold up, you made this, or did you have somebody else make it? He said, "Man, me and Joe made this, dude. This is me, Joe, and Jamie."
Joe Long.
I'm like, no. He said, why? I said, because Stud told me he made it. I gave him a copy, but he don't have this version of it, and gave me another version that was even raw. Yeah, because he gave me the instrumental, the reprise, and the vocal version. I'm like,
I'm gonna let y'all know this. So y'all used to make us so damn mad because y'all be playing these tape versions y'all got, and by the time Farley would play them on the radio, y'all play them out, and we get to the store, and what we got was like, okay, this is not what I heard. Like,
nah. That's the record company.
Okay.
Because when Work the Box was coming out, I begged Rocky not to touch it, leave it as it is, let them do what they do. But the brothers didn't have the track up anymore. I think that's how it went. So they had to go off a 4-track.
Ooh.
And so they had to recreate it, at least Work the Box. But the original 4-track version is on the vinyl. This record from my guy Mark Belcher and Dean Bowie, called "I Have a Dream." Again, one of these Chicago records that it's just a track, but if you played it, the right crowd, they losing their mind. I mean, it was a hot track. Leave it alone. Don't mess with it. I tried to get Rocky to sign House Nation, the original House Nation, for my guy Steve Simmons. I tried to get him to sign that. And he said, "No, I think it needs some strings. I think the record needs strings." He used to say the record came out under Yellow House. And then I said, "Look, there's another track, Jack My Body." And they still no, that's Jack Your Body. This song is called Jack My Body. Hot track. Yeah, I heard about it, this, that, and other. I said, yeah, this the guy that did it. Talked to Nick. Nick didn't want to sign with DJ International. So that came out too in the Yellow House. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get these tracks on DJ International because these are the hot tracks that made the parties jump back in the day at that time period for me, when they were still fresh, relatively fresh. But yeah, that's the beauty of house music, man. It was, especially back in the day, you had original versions from other people that when it came out, it didn't sound the same. Like I had a crystal clear copy of "Bring Down the Walls" I got from Larry Heard.
Oh my God!
My cassette sounded better than the record.
Yes, I was so mad when "Bringing Down the Walls," "Mystery of Love," another one. I was so mad when I bought "Mystery of Love." I'm like, okay,
yeah, this had to get the Larry Heard one. The original was on Alleviated. When he did it on DJ International, I guess he said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home. I'm gonna polish this mug," and it was real polished. It wasn't bad. It was.
Oh no, but it wasn't what when you hear it. It
wasn't Alleviated. It wasn't the Alleviated record one, because when it first came out, the one that he put out on himself that he pressed the vinyl for, that was the better version. One that was a DJ International, hated it. What was this other? The one that made me upset was "Can You Feel It?"
Oh yeah,
because the very original version got vocals on it, right? That was the original one. And from my understanding, the record company didn't like the vocal version, so they used the instrumental. And that's how we know it now. Because if you heard the original even back in '86, it was like, that's a beautiful ass song. This is a beautifully written song, beautifully sung. But hey, it's the music business.
Wow, man. Well, man, like I said, man, it's just a pleasure talking to you, man. Like I said, you got, I know you probably get this a lot, man, but I'm just saying when this comes to you and Marshall and Larry and Adonis, all y'all guys, I hold you guys up to very high esteem. All of us do. All of us do. Because you just gave us so much with the music you made, man. You gave us so much. And you just, I just can't communicate how much you gave us because we were able.
Really
every time we played a party, I don't care if it was in Bolingbrook, Aurora, North Side, South Side, West Side, wherever we were at, that music unified, and it made people. This is what we do here in Chicago.
Yeah. So, shout out to my boy Dave Merritt out in Bolingbrook. That's my guy.
Oh yeah, that's my dude. Man. We spend together.
Him and Neil. They're my guys, dog. These my dudes. I used to hang out in Bolingbrook back in the day, low key. Low key, yo. Seeing this little bunny out there back in the day. I used to be everywhere. I learned that from playing ball. I used to be everywhere. I didn't care about you famous, and I'm like famous. I'm just TYREE Cooper, dog. Where the women at? You know what I'm saying?
All right,
that was my whole thing. That was my whole thing. All right. Hey man, I like your record. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, who's that girl right there? You know who?
Well, man, I got you in an hour and 30. I don't want to keep you too much longer, man.
My dog is scratching at the door anyway, so.
But tell us real quick before you go what you're doing now, what you got going on, what projects you're working on.
Oh, okay. Well, wow, that's a lot of questions. At the moment, I'm trying to get my vinyl. I think it's called vinyls from my shelf released, like kind of like my greatest hits kind of thing. I'm doing some more hip house. My guy Uncle Hood, also from Chicago. I'm here in Las Vegas. I got a party coming up in Vegas on the 17th of September. Yeah, I'm still doing production. I never stopped doing that. I have a show weekly every Wednesday on Mixcloud at 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock Chicago time, 6 o'clock East Coast time, 11 o'clock London time, midnight Germany time, the rest of Europe. It's called Warehouse Wednesdays every week on Mixcloud. I have that going, and what else? Yeah, just trying to live, dog. Just, trying to be as safe as possible and stay healthy as much as possible. You know what I mean?
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Cooper, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate you giving us your time. Like I said, you have made my day. All right, because like I said, it's not often you get to talk to people that have inspired you in the ways that you guys have with me. Like I said, when I talked to Man Parrish, I told you about that. I was like, oh my God. I mean, the only other person I could talk to probably tripped out more would have been Prince, as far as because of the amount of how,
I met Prince and cursed him out.
Now you got to tell us about that real quick.
I've told this story so many times. Just real quick, during that tour for MTV in Holland, it was MTV Swatch. Remember the Swatch watches?
Mm-hmm.
So, we had a night off, and Prince was in the country, and he was only like a town away from Amsterdam. So he was, from my understanding, he always comes to this one club, and the club is called the Roxy, right? And this particular night was drag night, right? Now you said, okay, Terry, what are you doing in the club? It's drag night. Well, again, I've always been trying to follow the ladies, and this one particular lady from this group that was on tour with us, I was trying to holler at her, right? And so she's Dutch, so she said, hey, you can go to this club. Let's go out to this club. I'm like, what kind of club is it? She said, yeah, it's drag night. I'm like, oh. I didn't care because my end result was like, I was trying to break some backs. That was my whole thing. So we get to the club. I'm in her ear. I'm Chicago. I'm. You might as well call me. What's his name? Donald Goins. What's his name? What's my name? Iceberg Slim.
Okay.
I'm just getting nothing but game in this girl here. I'm like, yo, man, woo. So I'm getting tired. I'm getting restless. So I'm like, yo, let's go. She said, no, they said Prince is coming here. So I'm like, oh shit, Prince, like the real Prince. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I straighten up a little bit. I'm like, all right, cool. So we waiting. So I'm like, yo, man, it's like dark 30 and shit. I'm like, when is this one coming? I'm like, yo, I'm trying to lay you out the bench. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I guess he's not gonna show up. So as we leaving, listen to the story. As we leaving, The security guards push us back, like, move out the way. Mind you, I'm TYREE Cooper, so you don't touch me. I'm a star. I'm a star anyway. Yeah, yo, you don't put. I'm like, my man. Like, nah, man, you got this person. I'm like, all right, bet. So I let this guy in and this girl, and I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, who is? I'm in a limo. What a limo? I'm like, damn, they taking this drag shit a bit far, dog. I'm like, this shit is extravagant. I mean, they got costumes or something. Look at this shit on stage. I mean, they got costumes or something. Like, they taking this shit far. So the girl was like, no, that's Prince. Loudly, I'm from the south side of Chicago, 100. Wow. This little motherfucker is not Prince. His spandex pants are like baggies. This little motherfucker is not Prince. His hair straight. Where's Fro at? Now I'm being real belligerent at this time. I'm like, and who is the girl? Who's that? She's supposed to be Cat. I remember Cat from the playground because the dancer Cat.
I know.
Yeah, she used to be at the playground. Back in the day.
Glover, right?
Huh?
I think her last name was Glover.
Something like that. I just know her as Cat. I just know her as Cat because she was with the Spy Guys. Spy Guys or the Boy Scouts. I think that was the club she was in. But anyway, and she looked like, oh shit, I do know this motherfucker, but I don't know him now because this motherfucker talking real reckless. So I'm like, y'all ain't gonna make me believe this motherfucker's Prince. Y'all can kiss my ass. So the next day on Dutch TV, and they was talking in Dutch. Yes, Prince showed at the Roxy, and they showed this mug. Now you didn't hear me say not one camera. You hear me say one camera. One time. They said, yeah, Prince. Yeah, he coming in. He showed up at the Roxy and And they got all these cameras and shit. I'm like, wait a minute. Well, this motherfucker was Prince. Like, get the fuck out of here. This was Prince. And 2 years later, or a year later, Steve really did the remix to Get Off. You feel me? I'm like, I could have been in it because I only understood he was a homeboy. Like when I met Bobby Brown, he was just as ghetto as anybody from Chicago. Bobby Brown reminded me of somebody from Chicago, like a champ.
Okay.
Always amped, always on the move, couldn't sit still. But he was a down brother. He didn't say, yeah, I'm Bobby Brown. I made my prerogative and woo out the band. Hey, Chicago. Hey, Chicago. You know, I was used to that kind of. When we said it was Prince, I was like, oh, I fucked that up. So that was it. That's pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, once again, Mr. Cooper, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks a lot. You know, it's good that we can tell the story of Real House Music Chicago. And like I said, I'm sorry, everyone, if I missed any of your favorite songs because this catalog is so large. If we sit here and talk about every song, we'd be here about a day. But
yeah, I got Dance Mania hits that people have been digging for years and shit. So
yes,
it's all good. It's all good.
All right. So I hope to have you on again.
Yeah.
It was good talking with you, man. If you're out in Vegas, if I get out there, I definitely shoot you a message. I get out there from time to time.
There you go.
Right.
You go.
God bless. We're going to get
word.
And I appreciate it, Mr. Cooper. You have a nice day. And everybody like and subscribe so we can keep telling the true history of house music from Chicago.
As Richard Pryor would say, undabo.
All right, then. Peace.